Hi there everybody! It's been a really long time since I've seen you, or more or less actually since you've seen me, but I wanted to just wish you all a happy belated Merry Christmas, and I'm here to do my end of year video that I usually do to close up the year. I hope everybody's looking forward to 2018. It's sort of a tradition for me to come and just sort of talk about what it is that I played during the year, and the videos sort of get shorter and shorter as time goes on because I do play a lot in a year, and so I don't want to spend too much time rambling, which I have a really bad habit of doing. So I'm just going to take the time to sort of talk about some of my favorite games I played this year, my game of the year, and some of the titles I played that I didn't really enjoy all that much. For those of you who are interested in seeing a full list of what it is that I've played, I keep track of everything that I play, and I'm going to be posting a full list of all the games on my blog, which I will link in the description box below. I played upwards of about 75 games this year, and they are across all different systems. So I play on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, etc. And they are all different genres, different lengths of time. Some of the games took me less than an hour, and some of them took me upwards of 40 or 50 hours. So I have a very wide range of what it is that I sort of play. So if you're interested to see what it is that I play in my spare time, you can check that out. And of course it would take way too long for me to talk about all 75, so I'm just going to sort of talk about a few of the things that I had played this year. So I guess we'll start with my game of the year. When I did this series last year, I picked The Witcher 3 as my game of the year because I spent such an enormous amount of time playing that, and it's just such a good game, am I right? I mean, if you guys have played The Witcher 3, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I have no contest for my game of the year this year either. It was very easy to pick The Witcher, and this year it is very, very easy for me to pick Horizon Zero Dawn. This was by far my game of the year, not only because it came out this year, but also because I played this game. I love it. It looks amazing. It plays amazing. It has great mechanics. It has a really great overworld. It has a really fresh and exciting story. It has everything. It is such an amazing game for being a standalone type of thing. It's the first in its title or series. It's kind of a unique IP that just sort of came out of nowhere, and it was just like, wow, it just took everybody by surprise. So if you have a PlayStation 4, if you're lucky enough to have one, and you don't have it yet, I would definitely recommend getting it because it is an exclusive title, so you sort of miss out on this if you don't have a PlayStation. So I played this, I got all the trophies. It's a relatively easy and enjoyable platinum. I played it again on hard mode when the hard mode was activated and put into it. I have not played the DLC yet. The Frozen Wastes just came out a couple of weeks ago. I haven't played it just because it's a little bit pricey for my liking, especially for something that is DLC related, but one day I really, really hope that I'll be able to play it. I imagine most of you have probably heard of or seen it, and so I don't really need to talk all that much about it, but it was just so much fun. It completely held my attention for as long as I played it. I was more than happy to play it again, and yeah, it was just a really, really fantastic, fun ride that I really, really thoroughly enjoyed, and I would definitely recommend it. Like I said, if you haven't played it, and you plan to, hopefully you will be able to find as much enjoyment in it as I got out of it. I was gonna try and do like a top 5 thing where I just kind of picked top 5 games that I enjoyed outside of Horizon, which of course was my game of the year, but I just played so many great things this year that it would just be so hard for me to make a top 5 without feeling like I left other games out. But I will kind of list off some of the games that I did play this year that I really thoroughly enjoyed. I've gotten into the habit of trading in a lot of my games that I no longer will play just to make the space for it. and just kind of clear out of my library. So I don't actually have a lot of the physical copies of my discs anymore. I also play a lot of stuff digitally on Steam, etc. So I'll just sort of do my best to list off the games, and I'll show off what it is that I am able to. The first major game of 2017 that I had played was, of course, Resident Evil 7, which came out in January, and I talked a great deal about it when it came out. I did a lot of streams on it. I did eventually post those streams up to YouTube for people to watch, and I am waiting for the gold edition to come out before I actually buy a physical copy of it. I played it on Steam, and so I've kind of said what it is that I want to say about RE7 because I did sort of talk about it for so long after it had come out. You guys know I absolutely love Resident Evil. The one thing I will say is that it's very different from the other Resident Evil games if you guys are not aware or have not seen it. It also has very expensive DLC, so I would probably buy a gold edition when it comes out or wait for the DLC to come out for a cheaper price. They just released the free DLC that they were promising to everybody. That had just come out. So there's still a work in progress. They're still adding content to the game, but if you want to kind of have Resident Evil go back to its original sort of horror roots but with a new take on things, then that would definitely be recommended for you. If you're more used to Resident Evil games like 5 and 6 that are very, very action based, then it may not be for you. But I, for one, really enjoyed it. I was taken aback by all the changes that they made, but I think when I look back at it now, they didn't necessarily make bad changes. It was just a lot of adjusting to do in the Resident Evil universe that has already changed so much. It's like Capcom's always doing something different with it. But it was a welcome change. I did really enjoy it, and I hope one day I'll be able to play the DLC. I haven't played it yet. Like I said, I'm waiting for the gold edition, which is going to come out sometime next year. Another one of the games that actually came out in 2017 that I managed to get my hands on and play was Ukulele. Of course, this had come out on console, so I picked up my copy. And I didn't kickstart Ukulele because by the time I had found out about it, it had already blown up and it already had pretty much way past the amount of money that they were looking to get for the funding. So I did my part by actually buying it because I had interest in it, and I did a full review on Ukulele on my blog already when I finished playing it a couple of months ago. So once again, I'm just going to direct you guys there if you want to look that up and read it. The too long didn't read version of Ukulele is basically that it is very satisfying in terms of nostalgia. It really, really, really reminds me of Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day. If you really liked those games, if you're from that Nintendo 64 era and you really enjoyed those games, then this will kind of bring you back to feeling like you're younger. It really, really makes you feel good. It's not without its flaws. There are some things I wish they would have changed, some, things that I wish they would have expanded upon. But overall, I really don't see what all the complaints are about. I don't think it was that bad, and Ukulele sells for a lot cheaper than most new games do. New games nowadays are $69.99, $79.99. I got my copy, I think, for about $43. So by this time next year, or in the next couple of months, this should maybe drop in price if you want to give it a shot but you're not too sure about it and you're kind of on the fence. But again, if you're from that era, the Nintendo 64 era, and you like those games, then I would definitely recommend it. A few other honorable mentions that I have for other games I really enjoyed this year are Until Dawn, which a friend of mine was nice enough to let me borrow. I have since returned it to her. I would like to get my own copy, but I have not yet since done that. But Until Dawn just kept me at the edge of my seat. It had such a great story, it had really great characters, and it was a really, really good interactive story. It didn't have that inactivity that you sometimes feel when you play Telltale, where you're not really doing a whole lot. It's more or less story dump, and a sort of a mix between that, Telltale storytelling, and games like Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain, where you do have a lot of sort of interactivity and action. It sort of takes those two and blends them together, and it was just so much fun. I cannot believe it took me so long to play it, and it was really nice that someone let me borrow that and have that opportunity. And I can't believe it's been, I think, almost 2 years, if not more, since that game came out. So I'm a little bit behind, but I'm glad I had a chance to play that. I have Dead Rising 4 here, which actually came out at the end of last year. It came out at the very, very, very tail end of 2016, so I kind of consider it 2017. But this, by far, I will tell you right now, is the worst Dead Rising game. By far, no contest. I'm not going to argue with anybody about that, but it was fun to see Frank back in action, and it still had some really satisfying moments, and I hate to admit it, but I did have fun playing it. This game gets shit on constantly. Everybody you talk to most likely will tell you that they didn't like it. It was terrible. They changed Frank West's voice actor, which got some people really, really upset. And people are saying it is the worst Dead Rising 4, and it is. But I kind of feel like Dead Rising is really hard to fuck up. Even if it's the worst in the series, there's something still satisfying and fun about it. I didn't have a lot of fun with the multiplayer, and the DLC kind of sucks, but you know what? I take it for what it is. The main story was silly, but it still had the fun combo weapons and the vehicles, and it had a big map, lots of collectibles, and it did keep me really busy, and I'm still working on it. So it's provided a lot of entertainment, and yeah, I like it. I like a good bad game every once in a while. So that's, I guess it's kind of like a guilty pleasure. I'm not going to white knight for it. I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going to say it was fantastic or it's not as bad as people say, but hey, I did enjoy it. And then finally, I have a few digital games that I don't have a copy of that I'll just sort of ramble about really quickly. I got around finally to playing Hatoful Boyfriend, which a friend of mine was pestering me about for ages. He was like, you have to play this. You love visual novels. It's hilarious. You will love it. And eventually I did play it. It is hilarious. I did love it. And it's probably one of the best visual novels out there. Hands down, hands down. It is such a crazy, wild roller coaster of a ride. So if you like visual novels, if you like reading, if you like, humorous stuff, then I would definitely recommend Hatoful Boyfriend, which is basically a dating simulator with pigeons that takes a very, very weird, fucked up, dark turn. It is just, oh man, it is quite a ride, so I'm really glad I got to play that. I did play other visual novels this year, but that one by far is probably the best one that I played. I finally got around to playing The Order 1886, which was one of the original PS4 launch titles, and I sort of talked a little bit about it when I played it over on my Facebook page. Basically, long story short, I enjoyed it. It does have a ton of cutscenes. It's a very short game. It's a very easy platinum. So I would have been pissed if I would have paid, full price for it when it came out, but I think I only paid like $15 for it or something like that. So for what enjoyment I got out of it, what time I spent with it, I really did enjoy it. It's very, very story driven. The combat's relatively straightforward. Like I said, very, very easy platinum. You can almost get all the trophies in one smooth playthrough without having to do much work on it. So I bought that, I played it, and then I pretty much returned it and brought it back because there's no point in me keeping it since I'll probably, never play it again. I finally got around to playing South Park, The Stick of Truth, which I really immensely enjoyed. I absolutely cannot wait for the opportunity to play the new South Park game that just came out, I think maybe a month or two ago now, The Truth But Whole. Again, but I'm going to wait for that to drop in price because I have a bad habit of buying things and not playing them, so it's no sense in me paying full price for it. But even if you don't like South Park or you don't really enjoy that kind of dirty, like, offensive potty humor, it's a really, really great turn-based RPG, and you can find it for relatively cheap now that The Truth But Whole has come out. So if you're looking for a fun, turn-based RPG, then I would recommend that. I also got around to playing the Turing test this year because it was free with Xbox Live Games with Gold on the Xbox One, and that was actually free in November, so I just recently played that. And the Turing test is a really, really fun, relatively easy puzzle game, and it's sort of like the Talos Principle or like Portal. It's kind of got that sort of setting and that sort of puzzle solving, and I have started and I've done a couple of blog posts about it. I did a review of it, and I have a very, 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 very long blog post in the works, just sort of dissecting the game and thinking of theories I have about it and a timeline, and I'm super into it. I was so incredibly enthralled with it when I played it. It just really kind of got to me. It got into my brain, and I really, really enjoyed that immensely. You can find it on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation. It's all the different consoles, and like I said, I was very lucky that I got it for free. Otherwise, I may not have played it, and this is an instance where I'm really glad that they give out free stuff for people to try. Otherwise, they might miss out on, really great opportunities like that. And finally, the very last two I promise that I'm going to mention for games I played this year and really enjoyed were Murdered Soul Suspect and The Wolf Among Us. I am absolutely bananas for crime solving and mystery type of things. I love, mystery and crime solving and getting down to the bottom of a case type of games. I love reading books about it, and I love, TV shows and documentaries and things like that about these kinds of things. And I just find that there aren't a lot of games like that out there, or at least there's not a lot that I haven't played. So I kind of feel like it is a genre that not a lot of people pay attention to, but when they make games like it, I find that they just do such a good job. I played LA Noire a couple years ago, and I'm gearing up to play the HD version of it again. I loved it, and I like all the Sherlock Holmes games that I've played, and I finally got a chance to play these two games, and they really, really sated that sort of hunger I had for that genre, and they were both really fantastic. I only just finished The Wolf Among Us, I think 2 or 3 days ago, and I'm still just like, oh my god, that ending just blew my mind. It was such a great game, and I honestly think it's probably the best that Telltale has to offer. And I played it at a really good time because they're making season 2, and I'm really hoping I don't have to wait too long for that to come out before I can play it again. Murdered Soul Suspect, I really want to do a Let's Play for you guys at some point. It really combines like ghosts and spirits. It's very dark and kind of moody, but it brings that together with crime solving. And I think the thing I like most about both of these games is that they don't focus too heavily on puzzles and combat. They really make the crime solving and the getting to the bottom of it sort of the main focus. And I think that's what these games should be about. And so they're really, really good for people who aren't good with puzzles, but they like a really good sort of mystery. They want to play detective kind of thing. And I really, really, like I said, I really thoroughly enjoyed both of them. And I hope that there'll be more games like them for me to play next year, and if nothing, then hopefully Wolf Among Us Season 2 will be out and I can play that. So I've rambled on long enough, and I still have more that I want to say, so I think what I might do is I might break these videos up. In this one, obviously, I'm talking about all the good things about this year, all the games I really liked, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video of games I didn't like so much. And just some other things I want to talk about. Obviously, I love video games. I've always loved them. I will probably always love them. But you guys don't really see what I do unless it's here on YouTube. So I want to open up that discussion. I want to talk to you guys about what do you guys like to play? What genres do you like? What was your favorite game of this year? Feel free to tell me in the comments. And I also want to highlight the bad parts of it, because it's not all good. I mean, there were some real crap games I played this year that I completely wasted my time with. And there's also some other things I did. I accomplished a lot. I did a lot of really great things. I got a lot of achievement hunting done this year. So I'm probably going to make another video or two just talking about some other thoughts that I have. I'm not sure if I'm going to post that soon after this, or if I'm going to do it right away. I'll figure it out. But in any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and that you stuck around. Thank you if you did for listening to all of my rambling. I appreciate it. And all the best to everybody in the new year. Happy 2018. I hope this is going to be a fantastic year for you. You know, if you had a bad 2017, I hope you can put it behind you and move on and make 2018 a good year. If you had a great 2017, then great. I hope that 2018 will be even better for you, and hopefully I will continue to post videos and I can keep going and I can keep getting your guys' support, because I really appreciate it immensely, and thank you all from the very bottom of my heart. So thank you all, and I will see you in 2018.